Hello YouTube, this is Ben, and today we're going to talk about this fellow right here, the fish that has gotten perhaps the most comments in my juvie tank, and that is the juvie Taiwan Reef. Taiwan Reef is a part of the Protomela family, and they get up to about 7 inches, and they do need, like other members of their family, the tangerine tiger, red empress. They need some veggies in their diet, so you can't feed them just pure protein, or they will not really do as well as they should. They should be in pristine water conditions, like most cichlids, but Taiwan reefs do have a particular sensitivity, perhaps more so than other fish. So if you're going to keep one, you better count on very regular water changes and filter maintenance to make sure that their water conditions are as pristine as possible. When they get older, of course, they get into breeding. They can be very hard on subdominant males. So you're really going to want, if you want to create a breeding group, you're going to probably want one Taiwan Reef and maybe between 3 and 5 females, and provide them with, some rocks, and perhaps in my case some plants, things along the bottom that they can hide around in and feel secure in, and then be sure to then provide them with some open swimming space above those rocks. So moving them into a 90 or a 125 with some rocks below and some nice open swimming area is a pretty good home for a fish like this, especially when they start to approximate their size of 7 inches. I have a fully grown one in my 135 you've seen in other videos, and he's kind of a monster. Not sure what I'm going to do with this one. If I'll end up using him as the replacement, maybe offer out that large Taiwan Reef. When I first received him right out of the bag at around just a couple inches, he already had spectacular coloration. My first thought was perhaps maybe he had been what is called a juiced fish or a hormoned fish. But fish that have been hormoned, those colors usually fade very, very quickly, or at least within a month or two. He has maintained these great colors and a bit of an early bloomer, and very happy with him. You're seeing a lot of micro bubbles from the Zoomed power heads that I have pointed upwards to create more surface agitation for extra oxygenation. I noticed that the fish were moving their mouths a little bit more than I feel comfortable with, and so I started to create more surface breakup, and they calmed down. Ideally, your fish, unless they're very excited or in the middle of a chase, your fish really shouldn't be working so hard to breathe, or seem to be gasping or hanging around the top of the tank. That simply means that your tank is low in O2. I had one of the Zoomed power heads, the one that I use on the right here of the tank. For those of you who watch my videos, it stopped pumping air. I'm going to clean it out and see what happens, but I think it's probably run as long as it's going to run. So I removed it to create a little extra room on the right. I also had my my heater, the black, I believe it was an API 200-watt heater. It failed. The thermostat really wasn't working right. I noticed when you would turn it, the red light would stay on, so I replaced that with an Eheim Jagers 300-watt. A bit of an overkill for a 60-gallon, but it's sitting back there. I was just going to leave the heater out because in the summer, you know, the house stays around 70, but we all of a sudden got a little cold snap here in Los Angeles, in the Arcadia area, and the temperature of the tank dropped, so I went ahead and threw that 300-watt Eheim Jagers in there. Always try and have a backup. Heaters, filtration, certainly air pumps, things of this nature. Always advise you to have some backup. Everybody else is looking good. Fusco's starting to get a little color. Dolphins are looking good. The Venusis. Here's the polystigma that was moved over from the grow-out tank. He's in the same family as the Livingstone. And so Livingstone is definitely bigger, stronger fish at this point. Intermedius looking great. Tetrastigma, however you want to refer to them. All right, and of course that beautiful Red Empress that I featured in an earlier video continues to look very, very good. The VC10s are being slow to color up, but they're actually some of my most favorite fish. I hand feed the fish from time to time, and they use those big thick lips, and they latch onto my fingers, and they're actually a lot of fun. They hold on pretty tight. I'm glad they don't have teeth. There's the hawk patrolling the back of the tank. Another very interesting species. All right, so that's it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. And that Taiwan Reef is a real looker, and we'll see where he ends up. Probably in the 135. He's been doing all types of breeding and going through his little breeding dance and approaching this John Stoney here because he looks a lot like a female Taiwan Reef, but of course he's a male. But he dances all around him and tries to get into some type of a breeding exercise with him, but of course it doesn't go anywhere. So never a dull moment. Just love the colors of Intermedius. Okay, so that's it, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Greatly appreciated. Sometimes I'll feed them by hand, and the VC10s really like to hang on to my finger. Oh, there they come. They hit me pretty hard sometimes. They love those pellets. There's that 7-inch Taiwan Reef. He's hanging out in the plants. One of the reasons I like plants is it provides fish with a little bit of cover, a little bit of security. He's hanging out back there. I think the Intermedius has become the tank boss here.